kids, welcome to TRUCKSTOP Story Hour. Today, the exciting alternative to drag queen story hour. Today we're reading from this book here, Empire of Illusion by Hedges. I think it's an important book that young people should be studying this kind of stuff in the classrooms these days. I think it's particularly important because it talks a little bit about the working class's role in all of this sort of celebrity culture that is sort of inundated and endemic of our culture these days, and it's really just kind of how, the consolidations of wealth exploit the American landscape and the labor, the working classes of the United States. And you see it certainly in influencers. It's the same sort of shill game, It doesn't really matter about woke or anti-woke. And all this talk about like communism is complete rubbish, because they talk about it in the context of sexuality and gender affirmation, and none of those people work, right? None of that's invested. The only labor it's invested in is the kind that's related to childbirth, right? So it's kind of like appropriating the idea of labor, and the value of labor on the market. In the terms of, prostitution, I suppose. And like I said in other works, it's like you can't take an ideology or a book out of the context of its era, right? And here you have the Communist Manifesto was written in a time when prior to World War II, when the value of labor was intensely becoming more and more united, right? Because the workers of the world, the IWW, was coming together and sort of uniting races based on this idea of labor and the ideas between the capitalists just sort of grinding people into the ground, giving them very little compensation for their lives. It was, it was a slavery, basically. And so you had actual sort of physical confrontations. You had labor wars, right? You had Homestead, and you had the Haymarket strike, and you had, the miners, and these are all people whose lives were put into danger every single day, right? And their health were all sort of compromised just by this very sort of small groupings of consolidated wealth, right? And these people actually had to come to arms, right? They had to take up arms against their oppressors at some point. And that led to your 40-hour work week, your, labor laws for children, all these protections that people fought and died for that you don't hear people talking about in any sort of regards these days. They just want to talk about this kind of celebrity hogwash and who, how to have sex and who to have sex with and how to, how fun it is one way or the other. So I want to read a little bit from this book, and I think kids should learn this, because you see this stupid people want to procreate with, they don't want to procreate with intelligent people anymore, so they want to create AI. All these technocrats, they're just stupid fucking hoary kids. These technocrats, they don't want to, they don't want to have intelligent culture, right? Because they can't, right? They're incapable of doing it, so they created AI to do it. So you're going to have, that just kind of encourages people to procreate with more stupid people, right? And not procreate with people who have an intelligence to offer the American culture, or the culture of children, or the culture of populations. I'm going to read a little bit from this for you kids. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here, kids. You're not my sons. You're not my daughters. We're not family. But I offer you this service, this courtesy. So it goes. Starts like this. The working classes, comprising tens of millions of struggling Americans, are shut out of television's gated community. They have become largely invisible. They are mocked, even as they are tantalized by the lives of excess they watch on the screen in their living rooms. Almost none of us will ever attain those lives of wealth and power. Yet we are told that if we want it badly enough, if we believe sufficiently in ourselves, we too can have everything. We are left, when we cannot adapt these impossible lifestyles as our own, with feelings of inferiority and worthlessness. We have failed while others have succeeded. We consume countless lies daily, false promises that if we spend more money, if we buy this brand or that product, if we vote for this candidate, we will be respected, envied, powerful, loved, and protected. The flamboyant lives of celebrities and the outrageous characters on television, movies, professional wrestling, and sensational talk shows are peddled to us, promising to fill up the emptiness in our own lives. And here it's very important to add influencers, right? All these YouTubes and all these platforms, Twitter, they're just all about shilling that idea, right? That these celebrities are something that irritates. But these people are all sanctioned, right? They're all sort of profiled, sanctioned, and they're elevated for certain objectives by mechanisms you don't see, agencies and the mechanisms that you're not aware of, agreements, negotiations, and you never see them, right? They're all acting in the background. It's not like going to the factory and punching the clock. Celebrity culture encourages everyone to think of themselves as potential celebrities, as possessing unique, if unacknowledged gifts. It is, as Christopher Lasch diagnosed, a culture of narcissism. Faith in ourselves and a world of make-believe is more important than reality. Reality, in fact, is dismissed and shunned as an impediment to success, a form of negativity, right? This is kind of what talks a little bit about Plato's cave, and that's kind of a really relevant sort of idea here, or metaphor. The New Age mysticism and pop psychology of television personalities, evangelical pastors, along with the array of self-help bestsellers penned by motivational speakers, psychiatrists, and business tycoons, all peddle a fantasy. Reality is condemned in these popular belief systems as the work of Satan, right? As defeatist, as negativity, or as inhibiting our inner essence and power. Those who question, those who doubt, those who are critical, those who are able to confront reality and who grasp the hollowness of celebrity culture are shunned and condemned for their pessimism. The illusionists who shape our culture and who profit from our incredulity hold up the gilded cult of us. Popular expressions of religious belief, personal empowerment, corporatism, political participation, and self-definition argue that all of us are special, entitled, and unique. All of us, by tapping into our inner reserves of personal will and undiscovered talent, by visualizing what we want, can achieve and deserve to achieve happiness, fame, and success. This relentless message cuts across ideological lines. This mantra has seeped into every aspect of our lives. We are all entitled to everything, right? And this is also kind of like the whole cancel culture, right? If we just, how you beat cancel culture, you just tap in your inner reserves of personal will and undiscovered, that's the big thing. But really, it's just that consolidation of wealth and interests, protecting itself, sanctioning you for some extent, right? And giving you something that you haven't really earned, that something that most people are capable of doing, right? Are just as capable of you doing. It's just you haven't really earned all the protections that you have, and those protections are essential to projecting this illusion of your your expertise or your authority, right? It's just all insulation.